So you stress out the word transformation instead of change. I'm not sure if I catch the meaning. Do you mean that you already have it and you kind of just switch within yourself to a different mode of being or something? Or how do you
Yes, that's very very nicely. Of course, you got it, Ollie. This
all
is
right.
exactly how you said it. Yes,
Yeah.
you can call it a switcher or a shift or just noticing better or knowing and hearing, sensing better what you already have, the
Mm,
transformation that's in you. So it's oftentimes very comforting to people to realize that it's already something in me what's powerful, and I don't have to learn new things. I just have to notice them in a different way.
yeah, I think that's very, very interesting. I think for me personally, some kind of switch changed around when I was 25 or something with the art. In a way, I was really rational, like overly boring rational person, and I don't know what happened, but in very kind of switching in the moment, I kind of understood art in at least in
Yeah.
my opinion. I'm not sure if the art critics would say that, but I don't know, I think it was some kind of transformation. I probably
Yes.
had the art in
Yeah.
myself, but I felt that wow, I started reading poetry, I started going into museums, watching paintings, and
Yes.
also took like approach to life that some things I don't rationalize like what I had been doing before. So
Yeah.
I think that's one. Would you have some examples from your customers, if you can share them, that something similar? How have you seen the transformation in your coaching?
Yeah, what you described. Some coaches. I'm not very particular with this. Nouns or verbs or anything, but they call it awe moment. Kind of that when we experience that kind of awe moment, that really can change a lot, doing and being on the doing and being level and curiosity level. But maybe curiosity as a word would describe very well what happens when people kind of find new resources in them. Curiosity on themselves, on others, on circumstances, and the view just changes. And what people have told not only in my coaching, but the coaches that do similar practice, is that they kind of see themselves in a different light. They see themselves in a different light. So they might even want to start this wellness program, not just doing the program, but being in the program for themselves. And I also use kind of technique which is called focusing, which is internationally known kind of meditation or mindfulness like hearing the body technique, but it's not quite similar. It's in the focusing, people kind of concentrate that all their focus in the body, and they hear answers from the body if it's very shortly done. So not from the brain, but from the body. So these are the kind of experiences or kind of sensing that people tell for a coach if the shift has happened. Then that I could really hear from my body that I need to do this, or that I can do this, or this is very immersive to me that I can go there and I want to go there. Or the opposite, that you realize, for example, through your values, that this is something that I don't want to be part of anymore. And you sense it through your body, whatever it is. It could be workplace, it could be partner, it could be food. It could be exercising too much. For example, I have quite a lot of clients who have exercised themselves to exhaustion, to stress. So whatever it is, it's a kind of very clear sensing in the body that now I know.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I've been paying attention, for example, that we work quite a bit with the sedentary behavior, being inactive, and I pay a lot of attention to how I feel. And it's actually really funny that less you have done during the day, more tired you feel, and less energy you feel that you have even to go for a walk. Like if you've been active throughout the day, you are energetic, but more you have been sitting, more tired you feel. And I think it's really, really weird how it goes, that we kind
Yeah.
of, I don't know if we kind of mess up the feedback from our body. We don't feel that we need to move, but if we are active, we kind of get this
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah, this is interesting, and I do believe that it works for you like that. But I'd like to challenge you here, or kind of offer you another view also for this,
Mm.
because and you know that I'm not a scientific or academic on this. It's just what I kind of hear and see and witness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but maybe could it be possible that you, when you are doing your exercise, you're uh, also more in your whole body system, connected to your whole body system, and when you're not doing the exercise, you are kind of disconnected from your whole body experience, and it's something inside, not kind of how you're moving your muscles, and it's also possible to kind of find this embodied kind of being in my holistic experience also at the desk, if
Mm.
you know how to notice that, or learn to listen to that in a very subtle level.
Mm.
So that's also possible for some people. So I invite you to explore that. How could you be more in your body at your desk, for example? And
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think last month I've been in the process of moving, and I've been mainly doing that. I'm sitting on the sofa when I'm working, and then I'm active. Like I go training
yeah,
quite a bit, maybe twice a
yeah,
day, and yeah, I'm quite passive when I haven't been, because
yeah.
I haven't had the like a proper office. I haven't had the office table. I haven't had the sit
Yes,
stand desk or
yes,
anything like that. So that might be a point.
yes,
I think
yes.
you might have
And
a point.
if you allow me, I will show you some demonstrations about this.
Please.
This would be a very large topic itself, but
Yeah.
if we are connected, and I am not like this holistic healer person. I'm a very I'm executive coach and business background, but I still have learned this very very thoroughly. Is that, for example, if you are in your core and kind of lift yourself and
Mm.
raise your position up, and also check where your head is, it's not collapsed like
Mm.
this, and you kind of have a good body position, vagus nerve, your
Mm.
lungs, and the whole nervous system has more room to move around and
Mm.
do do what it has to do, and what it can do. And even the face gestures, we have in Pilates, this cooperation. We have face flow Pilates, which is connected if we have our kind of, for example, smile muscles.
Mm.
Because if you're concentrated on very serious work, what you do,
Mm.
you probably forget to smile, even if it's fun, because you're kind of in your own bubble.
Yeah.
But if you raise your smile muscles, and you can feel how rising them affects to the core, even to the diaphragm area.
Mm.
So they might be even in your eyes. You can refresh your being with your eyes, and this is very practical thing.
Mm.
But also, if you are focused, and you could also focus in your body to kind of listen that, what's happening here? Okay, I am in my body, and it
Mm.
could be also more like a subtle way, but
Mm.
just to demonstrate that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think that's a good point, and maybe I share a few scientific findings on this, that it is proven. Like there's, for example, studies that have shown that they kind of force a smile with the kind of pulling the mouth from the
Yeah,
sides, and then they put participants to watch, I think it was a comedy, and they do it in two different conditions with the
yeah,
smile on, smile forced, and the people rate that it's more funny when their mouth is
yeah,
forced to a smile position.
yeah,
This is kind of a classic study, and then for example larger you make yourself, the
Yeah.
more self-confident you feel. And then when we, for example, if you're sick and you want others to help you, need help, you make yourself small, that you are
Yeah.
vulnerable, and
Yeah.
others kind of notice that it's both ways, that when we feel, for example, less confident, we make ourselves small, but we can fake the system by making ourselves bigger, and it
Yeah.
affects the different way. I find
Yes.
those really fascinating.
Yes, and many findings say that, of course, this is common knowledge, that our sympathetic system, which is keeping us alive, is more active, and it takes us to the level of away from the parasympathetic quite often. But we can also kind of reactivate the parasympathetic part ourselves if we notice that. And crunching your eyes, for example, is the same kind of example, that if you are, for example, evaluating something very thoroughly, you're evaluating, you start crunching. But if you are kind of, for example, loving, you are also you use your body in a very active way. But if you are just observing, you're like a little bit cooler way, so you can be more relaxed.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, what you said, that quite often we focus, for example, we work on a laptop, we focus and we kind of forget to be in a certain position, forget that we are a body, and so on. So would your recommendation then be that kind of remember to be in your body when you work also on a computer?
This is probably one good example what I use. I am also a positive intelligence coach, which is a neuro science based coaching method from Stanford. This is the guy's name is Shirshad Shamin, who has kind of offered us coaches to use this platform for coaches, and he kind of advised and recommended that you could like when you're playing tennis, you learn to play the tennis ball first before the match. But if these are the same kind of bodily, they're like busting the inner saboteurs or sympathetic nervous system thing. When you, for example, concentrate, sometimes if you notice that now I'm not in my body, I could concentrate on my hands for a little while, or I could breathe more deeply for a while, or I could raise my eyes and look to the horizontal view, or if I don't have earplugs, I could hear sound, which takes me out of the over concentration. But of course, if you are in and so on, and of course, for example, my trick is that because I'm sometimes hyper vigilant. I'm worried if I can do this, or if this is happening, or if something awful is going to happen. I'm going to crawl and need help from myself. So I kind of lift myself up, and that's my kind of repetition for stopping the nervous system tricks. So you can learn to do what is a good way for you. And some people stand up, some people drink water, whatever it is. But if you do it certain amount, like for a week every day, your body will require that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can really relate to this. Lately, I've been trying to write, get in my work that I write much less. I've been trying within our team that I stop writing emails. I prefer audio messages, because then I can actually be moving, I can be personal. I think I'm kind of reducing myself so much in many
Yeah.
ways when I'm just typing
Yeah.
with the phone or with the computer. And also I've been trying to move from, for example, in social media, that I actually make a video, and people might think that making video takes time, but actually I can make 1 minute video in 1 minute. And actually
Yes.
typing that, it takes actually
Yes.
quite a bit of time, and
Yeah.
people usually appreciate when you are a person, not only
Yeah.
text. Yeah.
And this is probably a little bit coaching for you, Ollie. But what I hear, this is my interpretation or intuition about that. When you told that you feel more, relaxed and not tired when you're doing the exercises.
Mm,
So maybe when you are talking, and the talk is also resonating in the body. But if you are kind of writing, there is no words or no sound which is resonating in your body, but also the sound of yourself could activate the parasympathetic system, and you feel being in your body yourself. If you're a kind of audio person, for example, but also all the speaking resonates in our body.
Yeah, and if we think from the evolution, we've been monkeys don't talk, but humans have been talking for quite a long
Yeah.
time, and we've
Oh
been
yeah.
listening
Okay.
talk for a long time. But how long we have been actually writing as our main way of communication? Not for long, and especially like writing
Yeah.
with the computer. So I think it's just so much more natural for
Yes.
humans actually to
Yeah.
speak and listen speech than write.
Yeah. That's a good example or good thought. I need to dig into that too
Yeah,
deeper.
yeah.
So, but what I was, if I may, I
Please.
would like to take something else also out about the positive intelligence approach, which is a kind of tool for me. It's also a larger approach, but in my platform, it's a tool for having these perspectives. It's the art part, kind of, finding new. So one very it's also like ECG measurement, which is, I think, lean and simple, and it gets good information to talk about. We make this kind of saboteur assessment, which is a psychological test of your stress reactions. So it's not a very large test, but it kind of gives you a profile, what kind of reactions, for example, you would have when you find yourself in a stress or alienated. It could be kind of, high stress or alienating stress. So what would be your normal stress reaction? For example, myself, I am hypervigilant. If I am tired, it's stress from inside. Or if I face very demanding task, I could also be hypervigilant. Or if I meet a person who kind of triggers my hypervigilant in a behavior, I might be that. But then again, I have this, and this is just an example. This profile could be anything else, or something totally else. So my hyper vigilant reaction moves to the hyper rational, because I start to kind of command myself, like, don't think that. You just take, decent way to. You have decent way to do this, and you can do this, and it's a pushy one, and then I become restless. And that's all that this is combining all the inner saboteurs. But it could be also if your stress reaction is, for example, avoiding, that you kind of find it too big a task, you don't start it, or you don't tell your opinion, and so on. You first avoid, and then you feel like a victim, like I did it, and then you probably could find yourself also in a pleaser mode, so that you kind of go back again. So we kind of offer our clients to do a test like this, and then we have a platform to talk about these reactions, that how it feels, what's the result of it, and how would you like to approach it
Yeah,
in your path.
yeah.
So
Sounds very useful. So this is in the positive intelligent app,
yes.
or yeah.
Yes, it's in the application, and for us coaches, we have this platform to use this analysis. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think this has been really interesting discussion to philosophical approach, and I think many many coaching doesn't really have. They are like, all right, you should exercise more, and it doesn't really work. And I was just listening the episode with Lise, our other host, did with Goodman, that there was a lot about this, that no pain, no gain, for example, doesn't work, that you
Yeah.
might get few exercises done when you push people like this way, but it doesn't really work in a long run. And also the problem that usually the coaches are active people, and they have positive association, they have positive automatic evaluation. When I think, for example, exercise, it's all positive. It's a lot of positive things, but for many inactive people, it's all negative things. So it's quite a lot of maybe saying transformation that is needed. How do you see this? How do you approach if people are, for example, inactive and the only things they associate when you say word exercise, they have just negative things in their mind?
Yeah, in many ways. But for example, this PQ tool could bring a kind of awareness that what is preventing, what kind of saboteur, system is preventing the exercising. That could be one exploration way. That what is happening in my mind, my negative self-talk is saying to me that I can't exercise, or it's too stressful, or it's dangerous even, or to avoid, by avoiding that, I avoid other problems. So we explore the kind of mindset. That could be one way. But also in this hermeneutical approach, this circle, I could immediately, if I intuitively or I find out in a mutual way, that could person try something totally different, like totally different tryout. Just try. It's just a tryout. And that works quite often. That is not like a program that you have to start and then it follows this and that, but it's just a tryout. And then we dig into that tryout. And then we have information about that. And the tryout could be, for example, that walk 5 minutes. How was it? Or put your sneakers on. Or, it could be on the level of anything. And that would be one way. And some people are quite information based. In Finland, we could say engineering based thinkers. So then this stress measurement or kind of measurement with your flexibility or something might kind of have the view that, okay, I have to do something if I can't raise my hand to my ear level. So, the starting point could be anything, but it's almost every time, in my experience, individual. So group appearance in these matters might kind of make you evaluate yourself through others' eyes. So this is one of the problems that I notice, that we sometimes think that kind of group coaching or group situation might cheer you up, and you could have a mate to talk about the challenges. But my experience is that it might turn the view of yourself to someone else's. So
Yeah. So we have been now talking 50 minutes, and I think we could talk many hours about this philosophical approach. It's fascinating, but maybe we could have a short break now, so we don't turn turn too focused and have some moment. But we could have a short break and then continue. I think you are an interesting person, talking about holistic coaching, having a philosophical approach, but then also combining technology. So we will have a short break and we will continue recording after. But thanks for this part.
thank you, Olli. My pleasure.